Hello and welcome to J320, Principles of Creative Advertising. I'm Ron Allman, Professor of Journalism and Media at Indiana University Southeast. What you are looking at on your screen, I hope, is the syllabus for this course. It has the wrong date on it. It's not fall of 2021, but it's should be spring of 2021. This is an online course. I'm your professor. My office on the IU Southeast campus is in Crestview 117, but because of COVID, I don't know when or if I'm even going to visit my office this semester. The best way to get a hold of me is actually via Facebook Messenger. You can see on the next line here, it says Facebook, www.facebook.com/Rallman. Become my friend on Facebook. You don't have to, but it makes communicating with me a lot easier. If you use Facebook Messenger, it is a quick and easy way of getting a hold of me. The second best way of getting a hold of me is via email. It says there, rallman@ius.edu. Rallman@iu.edu works also. I can't remember the last time I used my office phone, but if you need to call me via my office phone, it is 812-941-2381. What will this course teach you? Well, without repeating the course name to you again, this course will teach you how to generate a creative advertising campaign. And how we're going to go about doing that is I'm going to start in the first part of the course teaching you how to develop a creative strategy. Now, the emphasis on this course is not going to be on the strategy. You can take other advertising, marketing, public relation courses, journalism courses in strategy. What we're really focusing on in this class is creativity, and that's what our first week is about. I have a little lecture that I recorded in class back when we used to have classes in classrooms face-to-face, and hopefully it'll give you a good idea about what creativity is and what I'm going to be focusing on in this course. I don't want good enough or common or typical type of ideas from you all. What I want is creative, disruptive ideas that will just make people stop and take notice of whatever it is that you're trying to promote. So that being said, how are we going to go about doing that? First, if you have special needs here, please contact the Office of Disability. We do have a required text. I haven't checked to see if it's available as e-text yet, but I will. If not, you can always find this creative strategy and advertising on Amazon, other book outlets. It is by Bonnie Druniani and Jerry Juler. And if you go to chapter 7 or 8, depending on which edition of the book, I think in the 11th one it is the 8th chapter, I wrote that chapter. So if you're wondering where do I have my connection with creative strategy and advertising, I was taught by Jerry Juler. I knew Bonnie Druniani, and they asked me many years ago, back in the 1990s, to write a chapter for them. And a updated version of that chapter has been in every edition of that book since, I believe, 1998. I might be wrong on that. I'm not saying this because it may be sort of illegal, but if you do a search for creative strategy and advertising, Bonnie Druniani and Jerry Juler, there is an online version of the book that I found. Let's see if I can click over here. That's what I found. And that's the book. So I don't know if I just told you guys how to cheat and stuff, but here's chapter 8. Ronald J. Allman. I'm now a full professor, so not associate professor, but I am still at Indiana University Southeast. So, please get the book. It follows the book. Use the book resources. Reading the chapters will help you do better in the course. I don't make any money off of the book. I haven't seen any money from this book since the late 90s, and back in the late 90s I reported my taxes wrong, so it actually cost me money to actually have this chapter in that book. So, all right, how you will get your grade in your class, which is what you're concerned about. Each week there's going to be a homework assignment for 13 weeks. It'll be about the topic of the week. This week, creativity. Next week, target audiences. The week after that, I believe, is research. Then it's strategy statements. Then it's the big idea. And then the course shifts away from strategy and into the different media. And we'll start with print. We'll go into design. We'll talk about radio. We'll talk about the internet. We'll talk about television. We'll talk about guerrilla advertising. We'll talk about direct marketing. All these different ways that we can use our creativities to reach a certain audience. Which, with each of these course homework assignments, there will be a discussion. That'll also be via Canvas. And these aren't supposed to be difficult discussions or difficult assignments. It's more about stirring up your creativity, getting your hands dirty, feeling what it's like to actually come up with an interesting idea for print, a creative idea for radio, along those lines. So the assignments will be pass-fail. Either you did it or you didn't do it. If you just kind of threw it together at the last minute, I'm going to be able to tell, and I probably won't give you credit for it. But if you've given it thought, you've turned on your creativity, and you seriously did your homework assignment, you get 20 points. The discussion, you get 10 points for your post, and then 5 points for responding to 2 other classmates' posts. And I wanted to go beyond, oh, gee, that was great, or that's super, something that took a little thought. And then, of course, 5 points. If I can't read it, your grammar, spelling, punctuation is terrible, I'm taking points away. You are all going to be in communicating professions, regardless of what profession you go into. So learning how to do it right, spelling, grammar, punctuation, is important, especially since this is a journalism course. Okay, the discussions will be tied to the homework assignments. It won't be anything, that you'll have to prepare separate for. You may have to do a lot of thinking. You may want to do a little Googling and stuff like that. That is perfectly fine, whatever you need to stir your creativity. So if you take 13 times 20 times 2, you come up with 520. I could be wrong because I majored in journalism. Actually, I was really good at math one time, but those were the old days. The final part of this course is a final project. This whole course is going to build up to being able to create this final project. And it's basically going to be a written project where you state the strategy that you're going to be using for a client that I will tell you about in the future, or maybe a product that we'll be doing. Usually I like to have a real world client, but because of COVID, it's not going to be possible this semester. So what I'll probably do is create a product or a company that you'll have to promote that's based in the real world but doesn't actually exist in reality. We'll talk more about that when it comes along. But the strategy will be built around a big idea, a creative idea, something that's disruptive, something that's going to grab attention. And with this strategy that you come up with, you will come up with 2 prototypes from 2 media of your children, choosing your children to. Let's say you wanted to do a print ad that would appear in a magazine. That would be one ad for that medium. And then you wanted to do a radio ad, so that would be one ad for that medium. So total of 2 ads, 2 different mediums. So you'll have this written project, you'll have the strategy, you'll have a nice little outline of what you're supposed to follow. It won't be anything that we haven't already done, both in the lectures, the homework, and the discussions. So it'll be just basically taking everything we start from today and just combining it into this final creative piece. So it's worth 300 points. You can see that it's worth a little less than the homework and the discussions together, but more than them individually. There will be no extra credit because there shouldn't be any need for that. As far as deadlines, please meet deadlines because this is a journalism course and you should know that deadlines are all important. And most of the deadlines are going to be Sunday, the first day of the week, So the assignment, homework assignment 1, which is coming up with your own personal definition of creativity, will be due on Sunday night. And your discussion will be due on Sunday night. And professors have been cautioned that, all these online courses have everything due on a Sunday night. I can move it up to Saturday, but Sunday be soon enough, and I'll probably get around to grading them on Monday morning when we start a brand new week. So, all right, diversity. Of course, we're all for diversity at IU Southeast and in the whole IU system. Of course, we will not tolerate any discrimination of any kind, and also we also promote the diversity not only of people but of thoughts and ideas. So this is one of these great courses where you can have diverse, strange, out there, creative ideas. Religious observances, read that. Student code of conduct, please don't violate that. Disability services, there's a link there. Weather delay, since this is an online course, there will not be any weather delays. So, due dates will be here in the course summary. You have a due date for your first homework assignment. I already kind of mentioned what that's about, and that is, one, I want you to read chapter 1. After reading chapter 1, come up with a personal definition of creative or creativity. What does creative mean to you? Please don't use a dictionary. I know what the dictionary says about it. And of course, avoid the phrase thinking outside the box or think outside the box. What box? Maybe we are the box. There is no box. So come up with that. It's literally a 1-sentence homework assignment. Do it in Microsoft Word, upload that. If you want to do it as a PDF, upload that. I'm good with most formats. So that's one of the things to do this week. Another thing that's due this week is the creativity discussion. And with that, I want you to go and tell me what is the most creative ad campaign that you think is currently running on TV. So sit there, watch some TV. Think about what creative ads you've seen recently. Why do you find it creative? And that's how it goes back to the homework assignment. Include a link if you can find it online on YouTube or something like that. So you can put up like the Frito-Lay Doritos commercial where Super Bowl ad a few years ago where they're getting an ultrasound done and the husband or boyfriend is moving the Doritos up and down the woman's stomach and the baby's reacting to that. And then he eventually throws the Dorito and the baby, well, we don't actually know what happens. So if you put the link to it and you say you find it creative because it's so disruptive, it grabs your attention, it keeps you watching, and it's not something that you would ever have thought of just sitting there on your front porch thinking about Doritos. So that would be a good post. Respond to that post, something along the lines of, I find your post to be correct because, Doritos, what does that have to do with a woman getting an ultrasound? It really grabbed my attention and held it for the whole 30 seconds that it was on. Something like that. And of course, you spelled everything correctly. And that's what you do for week 1. And of course, you need to read chapter 1 and also watch this video, actually. So if you go to home here on Canvas, you'll see that we only have week 1 highlighted as each week turns to that week. I will activate it. Actually, it activates itself, and it'll tell you what to do for that week. Watch this video, listen to the creativity lecture, do the discussion, do assignment number 1. And that's how the semester is going to work through. When it comes time to start thinking about the final project, I'll introduce the project. We'll talk about that. And it should be a fun exciting, creative, different kind of course than what you have had in the past. And I know I enjoy teaching this course. This is the first time teaching it as an online course, but I don't think it's going to take away from anything that the course has to offer, and will certainly meet our learning objectives. So I look forward to being the voice in your ear, and your guiding creative person through this process.